forgiveness. It gets that soft dirt in the middle. Man, it does not want to go straight. That's fun. One of the most common complaints with the Can-Am Ryker is the handling. The way the steering gets twitchy, kind of bounces as you hit bumps. Well, luckily I don't have to go far to find a bumpy road, because the road I live on is really bad. So as I hit these bumps, I have to compensate with the handlebars. I have to constantly adjust them left or right to stay in the lane position. So what people are doing, the two most common things to correct this are sway bars and steering stabilizers. And I think a lot of people get sway bars and sway bar ends, or sway bar links. I think they get them kind of mixed up. This changing the sway bar ends, or the sway bar links, is really not going to do anything to affect the handling. The sway bar itself will definitely make a difference. But the other common thing people are recommending is this steering stabilizer. And a steering stabilizer is quite common on off-road vehicles, a lot of lifted trucks, ATVs, that kind of thing. And so it's like putting a kind of a shock absorber onto your steering. So I kind of held off on the sway bar. But I am really curious about the steering stabilizer. So I went ahead and got one, and I haven't put it on yet. I'm just kind of doing a ride here to get used to the twitchy steering, get comfortable with that feeling, so that I can do a before and after comparison. It's like riding a go-kart. Somebody's been having fun here. Coming up on this little narrow bridge. And I think part of the uncomfortable feeling of the twitchy steering on these Rykers is it kind of throws your body. Your upper body gets thrown to the left and right. Sort of pronounces it, since you don't have like a car seat to bolster you in. I'll tell you, one of the biggest differences that I find between riding a regular two-wheel motorcycle and the Ryker three-wheel is the braking and not having a handbrake. I have to force myself to remember there's no front brake there. I have to use my foot. Oh, that's one of those cars that doesn't come with turn signals. And this is a nice, fun little curvy section here, but with it being so darn bumpy, you have to be really careful. You know, you hit a bump and it can kind of throw you to the left or right, or whichever way it wants to go. Yeah, riding these little Rykers on these bumpy roads like this is not exactly what you'd call a relaxing ride. So I can understand why it's probably the most common complaint. So we're gonna head back to the house. I'm gonna hopefully get the steering stabilizer put on, and then we'll come back out for a ride. Let's see what a vast difference it hopefully will make. See you again in a minute. So I'm not going to do a install video or anything like that. Ryker Rides has what looks like a really good install video on their website. My thing is I really want to do a before and after video to see how effective this is, because I am not at all shy about speaking my opinion if it's not effective or if it is effective, so we shall see. I went to get my little magnetic dish and see I got a little black lock washer from whatever my last project was. Oops. Alright, I got the stabilizer on and it is turned all the way up to its max setting, meaning it's got the most resistance, and it takes a bit of muscle to turn the bars when it's set that way. It's like a car with power steering, where I'm assuming once we get rolling here it'll be a little easier, but for in the parking and stuff, yeah, it takes a bit of effort. So let's get going and see how it does. So yeah, once you get moving just a little bit, it does get a lot easier to turn. That part through there was quite bumpy. Yeah, this is doing quite a good job actually. Going around these gradual corners, there's not really a noticeable difference in the effort that it takes to steer. It may be very slight. Okay, this is doing quite a good job. A little bumpy section there, and this thing just kept on going straight. Very impressive. Okay, it does take a little bit more force coming around a slow corner like that. I have to push a little bit harder than normal, I feel like. So you can see as this thing hits the bumps, the wheels are still bouncing around as you would expect when it's that bumpy. But the handlebars stay really stable. They don't move much at all. And before this, remember I was saying you have to give constant input. You really have to remain kind of hyper focused on steering when you're on these bumpy roads. And that is really not the case with the stabilizer turned all the way up. It's doing a really, really nice job. So here I'm stopped. I'm gonna make this right-hand turn. It's just like not having power steering, where as soon as the wheels start turning, it gets a little easier. And this stretch, it's got a lot of bumps, and I'm not having to fight with the steering. This is very impressive. Much more relaxed. Rally mode. Rally mode. There's no forgiveness. As soon as that back tire hits that soft spot in the middle, this is all over the road. It's like no traction control, no nothing. Oops, that is wild. I think I'm barely even touching the gas. This thing is just all over the place. God dang, as soon as you hit that soft dirt, like here's some really soft. It's just all over the place. I'm in trouble if a car comes around the corner here. All you gotta do is just give it the slightest bit of throttle. The thing just is sideways. Usually when I come down these dirt roads, I leave it in whatever mode, eco mode or whatever it's on by default. And as soon as you start spinning the back tire, the traction control kicks in, and it's still kind of fun. I mean, you can't get like completely sideways or anything like that, but it definitely will keep you in a straight line. So this is like the first time I feel like I've really used rally mode on these dirt roads like this, and it's weird. It's like if you're in the off to the side there, that back tire is on the harder stuff. As soon as you get over there, it gets that soft dirt in the middle. Man, it does not want to go straight. That's fun. All right, back on solid ground. Still in rally mode. Yeah, this stabilizer has made such a nice difference. So this is again on the max setting for resistance. I think it's number 12. And so the lower you go as you start dialing it down, the easier the handlebars are going to be to turn. It's going to get closer to how it feels without this stabilizer on it. But the trade-off being that you're not going to get as much assistance on the bumps. Yeah, this is good. Steering stabilizer is Slow Rider approved. I think I'm still in rally mode. Let's see here if I can still stay in the road. It is quite lively in this mode. This curve will be interesting. Usually I come flying around this corner, but the traction control is saving me. It's rally mode. I'm a little more conservative right now till I get used to it. But it's still pretty well mannered there. It seems to be that bit in the middle, or wherever. Yeah, it's kind of in the middle on this road. You get those parts where the dirt is really soft, it hasn't been packed down by the tires. That's where this thing can't get any traction. But this is pretty good. Pretty fun. Got manure, pieces of manure all over the road. I try not to go back with those stuck to me. This is quite an easy ride coming down this dirt road. This is usually one of these where you have to concentrate real hard and hang on. All right, I think that's about it then. steering stabilizer for the Ryker. 2 thumbs up. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time. Alright, I made it back in one piece. Very nice.